My boyfriend has a pursuer. She's not attractive, and her overall situation is pretty average. Yet she's been devoted to him for 10 years. At first, he was annoyed by her and constantly told her to get lost. But later, I saw the name he had saved for her on his phone. He called her, Sweetie. Chapter 1. While Sam and I were getting intimate, his phone suddenly rang. Breathless, he lifted his head from my lips, irritation clear in his furrowed brows as he angrily pulled out his phone from his pocket. Who the hell is this? I followed his gaze. It was an unsaved number, but we both knew exactly whose call it was. Sure enough, he frowned, but still answered the call, snapping, "What the hell is wrong with you? Can't you stop bothering me?" From the other side, I heard a soft sobbing. Sam, I didn't mean to, but there's a guy who's been following me. I'm really scared. Sam froze, glanced at me, then replied irritably, "What do you expect me to do about it? Call the police." Without waiting for her reply, he hung up the phone amidst her cries. "Let's get back to it," he said, almost too quickly, as if trying to cover something up. But in the kiss that followed, I could sense his distraction. Even as we kissed, his brow remained furrowed, as though his body was with me, but his mind had drifted elsewhere. Moments later, his phone rang again. Sam looked at me, hesitated, then answered. "Didn't I just tell you?" Valentina's trembling voice came through. "Please. I'm really scared. He's been following me." Her helpless, tear-filled voice made Sam sit up abruptly. "Where are you?" After she said something, he immediately jumped up, grabbing his jacket, ready to leave. Then, as if remembering I was still lying on the bed watching him, he awkwardly turned to me and said, "Layla, wait for me. It's just a girl in trouble. She's not safe." Without waiting for my response, he rushed out the door. I stared at the closed door for a while, then slowly pulled the blanket up. How many times has this happened? I've lost count. Sam and I have been together for 7 years, and for those same 7 years, Valentina has been entangled with him. When Sam and I first got together, we were in high school. I was the top student, and he was second in the class and the school's notorious troublemaker. He sat behind me, always tugging at my ponytail or poking my back, but he'd also bring me bubble tea, and when I had stomach cramps, he'd buy me a hot water bottle. At our graduation party, Sam walked up to me, and the whole class started to cheer. I still remember how his cheeks were flushed, but his eyes sparkled like stars in the night sky, so bright. They were mesmerizing. "Layla," he said, smiling, his eyes full of warmth. "I like you. Do you want to be with me?" When I said yes, everyone cheered, except for Valentina. She ran out crying, but no one paid attention. It was common knowledge that Valentina liked Sam. Every time I was joking around with Sam, she'd be in the corner, silently watching him. She'd bring him bubble tea, but he'd always give it to me. She wrote love letters to Sam on scented pink stationery, slipping them into his desk, but Sam would tear them up and throw them away every time. It was equally well known that Sam didn't like Valentina, because she was simply too unremarkable. She was plain, with sallow skin covered in freckles, small eyes, and unremarkable features. She was always at the bottom of the class, wore oversized glasses, and kept to herself, folding paper cranes for Sam in the corners of the classroom. Compared to us, she was just too ordinary. At the time, I thought Valentina was nothing more than a small, inconsequential part of our relationship. Sam was attractive, and there was no shortage of girls lining up to like him. I'd seen it happen more times than I could count. Sam didn't like her, so I assumed she would give up, just like the others. But I never expected her to cling to Sam for 7 years. From when we were 18 until we turned 25, Valentina clung to Sam like a ghost that couldn't move on. First, she attended the same city college as us, showing up every day to bring him breakfast. After graduation, she pulled some strings to stay in the same city, calling Sam constantly for every little thing. At first, I didn't care. Valentina posed no threat to me. Sam was clearly irritated with her. He insulted her, told her to get lost, blocked her number. At his worst, he even yelled at her, "Are you stupid? I told you I don't like you. Can't you understand plain language? Aren't you embarrassed? Do you have no self-respect at all? But none of it fazed Valentina. She kept coming back, time and time again. Somehow, though, things began to change. I just didn't know when. I rolled over and stared at the ceiling. When did it start? When did Sam stop blocking Valentina? His attitude was still harsh, yet he answered every one of her calls. Now, with just one word from her, he'd drop everything and rush off to find her. I reassured myself, telling myself I was overthinking it. Compared to me, Valentina was neither beautiful nor exceptional. She hadn't changed at all since high school, still the same freckle-faced girl with glasses, working as a clerk at some small company, earning $3,500 a month. Meanwhile, I had modeled in college and now worked as an assistant to a manager at a publicly traded company. I glanced at the wrinkled bed sheets beside me, already cold from Sam leaving in such a hurry. He couldn't actually like her, right? I hoped. Chapter 2. Sam didn't come home the entire night. As the night dragged on, my heart sank lower and lower. It wasn't until early the next morning when he finally pushed open the door, looking utterly exhausted. So ridiculous, he muttered. And with just those words, everything I had wanted to say disappeared. He sat down next to me, grumbling with frustration. You have no idea, she was just playing me. Some nonsense about being followed. I mean, seriously, who in their right mind would stalk someone who looks like that? His attitude eased some of my anxiety, and I leaned in closer. I think she's really affecting our lives. Can you just stop dealing with her next time? Sam gave a bitter smile. You think I want to deal with her? She keeps changing her number, calling me. It's impossible to block her completely. Don't worry. We're getting engaged soon. I'll make sure to clear things up with her. It's getting way too annoying. I nodded, feeling a little better. But then I noticed that Sam was only wearing the t-shirt from last night. His jacket was missing. Where's your jacket? I frowned. Oh, he said nonchalantly. Probably left it at her place. Forget it. Not worth going back for. I don't want to get tangled up with her again. We didn't invite Valentina to our engagement party. No one knew what kind of chaos she might cause. So we didn't even post about it on social media. We only told close friends privately. Yet somehow, she found out and showed up anyway. As Sam and I stood at the entrance greeting our guests, she walked over with a strained smile. 7 years of dating, and you finally made it to the finish line. Congratulations. It seemed like she had made a special effort to put on makeup today. But the result was worse than before. Her eyebrows were painted too dark. Her lips were a garish red. She had managed to cover her freckles, but her face was deathly pale, like a ghostly figure, something out of a nightmare. And she was wearing a white gown, as if she were the bride at this engagement, with Sam's familiar jacket draped over her shoulders. My smile faltered, but I still tried to remain polite. Thank you. I hope you find happiness soon, too. Valentina didn't respond to me. Her eyes were locked on Sam. But there was no irritation in Sam's expression, just something complicated. Something I couldn't quite read. What are you doing here? He asked. Don't worry, Valentina said with a forced smile. I just came to see. If I can't have you, the least I can do is offer my blessings. Valentina's expression was desolate, and even Sam didn't seem able to muster any harsh words. After she left, my best friend pulled me aside, grinning mischievously. Oh my God, did you see her face? That scared me to death. I really feel sorry for your Sam. Being haunted by someone like that for so long, he must have nightmares. I forced a smile, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't make it genuine. For some reason, I felt uneasy, like something had spiraled beyond my control. Quietly, I asked, Do you think Sam might like Valentina? His expression earlier had made me uncomfortable, though I couldn't pinpoint exactly why. It just felt like Sam's attitude toward Valentina had shifted. Are you serious? My best friend rolled her eyes at me. Come on. Sam's seen tons of beautiful women. If he liked Valentina, that would be a real shocker. Her, with her 5 feet 2 inches height, bow legs, and freckled face? Don't insult Sam like that. I clenched my hands tightly and took a deep breath. Of course, I was so much better than Valentina. I believed Sam would make the right choice. After all, we'd been together for 7 years. Our bond had grown deeper than mere romance. We were practically family. We were too intertwined to ever truly separate. I had to trust him. When it was time to toast in the private room with our classmates, I wore my engagement dress and held onto Sam's arm with a smile. Thank you all for being here tonight. Sam and I couldn't have come this far without your support. Not at all. This toast is for you too. We wish you a long and happy marriage. And may you have children soon. A male classmate laughed. Yeah, we've all watched Sam and Layla's journey. 7 years together, that's no small feat. You finally made it to the finish line. A female classmate smiled and chimed in. A perfect match. Truly. Back in high school, Sam and Layla were the talk of the school. The number of girls who liked Sam could circle the track. I used to wonder who could win him over. And in the end, it turns out you both got each other. You don't know the half of it. Another male classmate teased. Sam had a huge crush on Layla for ages. Before confessing, he was so nervous he asked me for advice. The room was filled with laughter and smiles as everyone reminisced about our relationship. Everyone except Valentina, who stood in the corner, staring fixedly at Sam with a blank expression. Sam pretended not to notice, avoiding her gaze, but his smile was starting to look strained. All right, let's raise our glasses to this couple and wish them a lifetime of happiness, our class president said, lifting his glass, and everyone followed suit. Everyone but Valentina, who remained motionless and silent. The atmosphere turned awkward, and the class president quickly nudged her. Valentina, raise your glass, what are you waiting for? Valentina picked up her glass and downed it in one gulp, ignoring everyone else. She drank so quickly that the liquid dribbled down her chin, and she turned bright red, coughing and tearing up. Congratulations, Valentina rasped, lifting her head to look at Sam with a gaze filled with hopeless obsession. Her voice was hoarse. May you have a long and happy marriage. With that, she wiped her face and rushed out the door. The room fell silent, the festive atmosphere vanishing in an instant. The tension was palpable. Everyone knew our story, and after a moment of silence, they tried to smooth things over. Valentina probably had something to take care of. Come on, let's drink. But beside me, Sam was frozen, staring in the direction Valentina had fled, as if he hadn't heard a word the class president said. I bit my lip. Sam? He snapped back to reality, but instead of drinking, he looked anxious and said, I'll go check on her. He pushed my hand away and hurried out after her. My rival had run off crying, and my fiancé went chasing after her. In the middle of the large room, I stood there, feeling awkward and utterly ridiculous. Even the class president couldn't smooth things over this time. Everyone watched me quietly, waiting for my reaction. After a moment, I forced a smile. Everyone, please enjoy the food and drinks. I didn't even get to finish my sentence before my best friend burst through the door, her face drenched in sweat, shouting at the top of her lungs, Layla, you need to come out right now. Valentina's threatening to jump off the building. Chapter 3. What had started as a joyful engagement party descended into chaos, with everyone rushing out to see the drama unfold. I hiked up my dress and ran to the rooftop on the 7th floor. There, I found Valentina sitting on the railing, the wind whipping her hair into a disheveled mess. Her makeup was smeared from crying, making her look even worse. But Sam stood to the side, his fists clenched tightly, his face pale with fear. Valentina, we can talk about this. Just come down, he pleaded. Valentina glanced at him, letting the wind dry the tears at the corner of her eyes. She smiled weakly, her voice trembling. Sam, you're happy now, right? Engaged? Sam didn't answer, just stared at her, his gaze locked onto her every move. Behind me, people had gathered, whispering and pointing, but Valentina didn't seem to care. She swung her legs absent-mindedly, her mind seemingly elsewhere. Sam, I've liked you for 10 years. I've liked you since high school. Back then, when the teacher was assigning seats, none of the boys wanted to sit with me because I was ugly. I was standing there, so embarrassed, wishing the ground would swallow me up. You said you'd sit with me. I thought, you're so handsome, So many people like you, why would you sit with me? That's when I started liking you. Sam shouted. We can talk about this if you just come down. Valentina ignored him. But why are you with Layla? Just because she's prettier than me? Smarter than me? But I'm the one who loves you the most. Sam, I'm the one who loves you more than anyone else in this world. I changed my college application to follow you. Then I worked so hard to pull strings, to stay in the same city as you. I thought maybe you'd break up with Layla. Maybe then you'd notice me. But why did you have to get engaged to her? Unable to stand it anymore, my best friend shouted. What's wrong with you? They're engaged. Stop clinging to him, have some self-respect. Shut up, Sam roared as he turned around, his face twisted in anger. I had never seen him look so terrifying. My best friend froze, her eyes shifting toward me in silence. Valentina. Sam coaxed her softly. Whatever it is, come down and we'll talk about it, okay? Please, listen to me. His voice was so gentle, filled with affection, familiar yet foreign. Valentina smiled faintly, looking at Sam as her white dress billowed in the wind. Sam, I've loved you for 10 years. My whole life is wrapped around you. If I can't be with you, I don't see any reason to keep living. Now, she tilted her head slightly, a smirk playing on her lips. I'm giving you a choice. Either be with me and end this engagement, or... She gripped the railing and leaned back slightly. Watch me die right in front of you. If I can't have you, then at least I'll make sure you'll never forget me. The roof wasn't that high, just about 7 floors, but it was a drop of over 20 meters. Falling from that height would almost certainly be fatal. My hands started trembling at my sides as I looked at Sam, desperation filling my voice. Sam, please, don't. He turned to me, guilt etched on his face. After a long moment, he finally spoke. I'm sorry, Layla. Tears streamed down my face as I choked out. What about me? Sam lowered his head. I'm sorry, but I can't stand here and watch her die. I broke down, screaming. Why do you care if she dies? You've always hated her, haven't you? We've been together for 7 years. She's slit her wrists, taken sleeping pills, and threatened to jump more times than I can count. Sam, is Valentina the only one who matters? The only one who can feel pain? Am I not a person, too? Do I just have to stand here and accept that we'll always be 3 people in this relationship? As I fell apart, Valentina's smile grew wider. She looked at me like a victor, watching with smug satisfaction as the loser screamed helplessly. Sam, do you really not like me? Valentina's lips curled into a twisted smile, but her words were chilling. If you don't like me, then I'll just die. She made a move as if to let go of the railing. I like you. Sam, unable to hold back any longer, shouted, the words pouring out like they had been locked away for too long. Fine. I like you, okay? You win. Just come down. I'll call off the damn wedding. Is that what you want? Everyone, our classmates, our friends, was stunned. Quiet murmurs spread through the crowd as they watched the spectacle unfold. But Valentina was smiling, tears mixed with laughter as she reached out her hand toward Sam. Without hesitation, Sam walked over and grabbed her hand. Valentina leaped down from the railing, grabbed Sam's arm, and together, they ran into the stairwell. Sam didn't hesitate. In an instant, the two of them disappeared from view. The wind whipped through the rooftop, where dozens of friends and classmates had gathered to celebrate. Now, their faces were full of confusion and disbelief. I felt their stares, unbearable and suffocating. I wanted to escape, but it was as if my feet were rooted to the ground, unable to move. After a while, people began awkwardly making excuses to leave, the tension too much to bear. Only my best friend stayed behind, worry etched on her face. Layla, are you okay? Don't feel bad. Maybe Sam is just too kind. He couldn't stand the thought of Valentina dying. It doesn't mean anything else. I spoke softly. You should go. I just want to be alone for a while. Okay, she said, biting her lip. But don't do anything drastic. I'll be downstairs if you need me. And then I was alone on the rooftop, standing in the wind. It was strange. I didn't feel heartbroken. Maybe I had seen this coming all along. Instead, I just felt empty, like something had been hollowed out inside me, leaving nothing but a void, cold and exposed to the wind. Chapter 4. I stood on the rooftop for a long time, letting the wind chill me to the bone before slowly making my way back down. A waiter hurried over. "Miss, your husband left his phone here." My eyes felt dry as I looked down and saw the dark blue iPhone. "Thank you." After so many years with Sam, I rarely checked his phone. We'd been together for so long, like family, and we trusted each other completely. But now, I couldn't shake the urge to see what was really on his phone. I unlocked it and opened WeChat. There was only one pinned conversation, and it wasn't mine. The contact was saved under the nickname Sweetie Annoying, a name that carried a tone of affection. I recognized the profile picture. It was Valentina. Everything around me faded into silence as my trembling fingers tapped into the chat. The conversation was long, so long that I couldn't scroll to the top. The earliest message was from last year. At that time, Sam's attitude toward Valentina was still harsh. His first message read, "Can you stop calling me already? I've told you. I have a girlfriend. I only like her. There's no chance for us. Don't you get that?" Valentina replied, "But I just like you." Sam snapped back, "Are you stupid?" For a while after that, there were no replies from Sam, just Valentina, sending one-sided updates about her life. Today on my way to work, I saw a little black cat. Its eyes were beautiful, but not as beautiful as yours. My boss is so annoying. He keeps giving me a hard time. And for such a low salary too. My colleague went to Disneyland and took such beautiful photos. I wish I could go with you. Valentina kept sending messages like these for a year, with Sam not replying to any of them. I understood why he didn't block her. Back then, blocking Valentina would have only led her to change her number and flood him with friend requests. Letting her talk to herself was less trouble in the end. But after a year, things began to change. On the first day back after New Year's, Valentina sent a message. "I think I have pneumonia. It's pretty bad. The doctor says I should be hospitalized. But I don't have enough money, so I'll just go home." 10 minutes later, Sam replied, "Are you crazy? You can't ignore pneumonia. How short are you?" For the first time, Sam acknowledged her, and Valentina was overjoyed. 6,000. What? Are you going to lend it to me? Without saying much, Sam transferred 6,000 yuan to her. As I looked at the timeline, I suddenly remembered Sam telling me at the beginning of the year that he had made a mistake at work and lost 6,000 yuan from his bonus. At the time, we had a joint account where we pooled our salaries. I comforted him, telling him it wasn't a big deal and that everyone makes mistakes, it was just money. Better to lose it than something worse. Sam had stared at me for a long time back then, and then he hugged me without saying a word, holding on for a long time. I thought he appreciated my understanding. Now, I realize it was probably guilt. My fingers felt cold, trembling as I scroll further down the conversation. Since Sam had responded, Valentina started messaging him even more. She shared everything, from big news like changing jobs and moving houses, to small things like what she ate for dinner. Sam's replies were still few, but even the smallest response from him made her ecstatic. And gradually, Sam's responses increased. When the weather turned cold, Valentina reminded him, "It's snowing today. Make sure to wear something warm." Sam replied, "Yeah, you too." Valentina complained, "They deducted my salary again this month. My boss is such a jerk. He just has it out for me." Sam responded by transferring 5,000 yuan to her. "If you're broke, just tell me. Stop living off instant noodles." Valentina, "I really want to go to Disneyland. Will you take me?" Sam, "I'm busy right now. Maybe later." Later, he even started reaching out to her first. "Is your boss still giving you trouble? I've got a referral at my place. Why don't you apply here? Did you buy clothes for New Year's yet? Let me take you shopping. You got your return ticket, right? Don't be so careless like before and miss your flight. Sweetie, have you eaten? Is your stomach acting up again?" The more I scrolled through the chat, the blurrier my vision became. He used to care for me like this. Once. When did we stop talking like this? It wasn't that he didn't want to share his life with me anymore, he just found someone else to share it with. Over the past 10 years, Valentina had crept into Sam's heart, little by little, like a frog being slowly boiled. And now she has taken my place. The hotel lobby was bustling with people, but the weight of this revelation drained me of all strength. I couldn't stand it anymore. A dull, wrenching pain began in my chest as I slowly crouched down, covering my face as silent sobs racked my body. At that moment, everything became clear. No wonder he always seemed so frustrated with Valentina around me, but would never refuse any of her demands. No wonder he left me so easily when she threatened to jump. He couldn't bear to see her suffer. The truth was, he had already fallen for her. How did this happen? I cried, on the verge of breaking down. We'd been together for so many years. How could Sam betray me like this? He actually fell for her. What did that make me? Just a fool in their 10-year love story? By the time I got home, it was already late. My eyes were swollen, and I felt like a zombie as I stumbled through the door. Sam was already there, sitting quietly on the sofa. He looked up at me, his expression conflicted, as if he wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. Layla, he tried to explain, but I didn't listen. I threw the phone at him instead. The moment he saw the phone, he understood everything. Layla, I'm sorry. I really hated her at first, he said, his head hanging low, but she kept clinging to me, and over time, I just got used to it. Sometimes when she didn't message me, I felt like something was missing. He didn't get to finish. I cut him off with a bitter smile. My voice was thick with the aftermath of crying. Sam, are you seriously about to tell me the story of your epic romance? Spare me the disgust, it's enough. I wiped away another tear and rasped. You just want to break up, don't you? I'll do it for you. I wanted to say something sharp, but the tears wouldn't stop, making me feel utterly pathetic. Sam stood up, watching me, his expression full of pain. After a long pause, he whispered, I'm sorry, Layla. It's my fault. Just leave. I closed my eyes as hot tears streamed down my face. Sam had already packed. He had come back only to break up with me. He didn't take much with him, leaving behind everything I had ever bought for him. With a small suitcase in tow, he walked out and shut the door. The sound of the door closing was heavy, and with that, I crumbled, sliding down the wall and sobbing uncontrollably. It hurt so much, it hurt more than I ever imagined. For 7 years, I never doubted we'd be together. In every future I envisioned, Sam was there. I pictured us getting married, having children, growing old together. I thought he felt the same way, but I didn't realize that his heart had already drifted away. In this game of 3, I was the one who lost, completely and utterly. Chapter 5. Valentina's 10-year crush had finally become a reality, and she was so thrilled that she couldn't wait to announce it to the world. She eagerly posted a photo of the two of them together. In the picture, they were gazing into each other's eyes, one handsome, the other plain, but somehow, there was a strange harmony between them, likely because their eyes were both filled with affection. Time will show you who's really meant to be, she wrote. Valentina started working at Sam's company. They went to Disneyland together, kissed in front of the castle, and shared intimate moments in their hotel room. Sam even took her to look at wedding dresses. In a strange coincidence, or perhaps not, Valentina chose the exact same bridal shop I had picked, down to the very dress I had been eyeing. Her social media became a diary of their whirlwind romance, as if she wanted everyone to know about their 10-year-long love story. Now burning brightly and passionately, I stared at it, emotionless, before deleting and blocking them both. The past 7 years felt like a dream that left a painful echo in its wake. When a relationship of 7 years ends in betrayal, it cuts deeper than a simple breakup. And the fact that he betrayed me with Valentina, someone I had always considered ugly and insignificant, added an extra layer of self-doubt. I lost all my confidence. I began to wonder if I was really as good as I had thought. If I was truly better than Valentina. Why would Sam leave me for her? It was a hard process to work through. We had been together for so long, visited so many places, shared so many experiences. The movies we watched together, the songs we listened to, the flower shop where he once surprised me with roses on the corner of the street. Every little detail tore at my broken heart. I went to the movies alone and watched the X3. At first, I laughed like an idiot, and then I cried like one. I didn't know what was happening to me. My heart seemed to have a mind of its own, and it hurt in ways I couldn't control. But I was powerless. All I could do was wait for the wound to heal on its own. The next time I saw Sam was outside my office building. We had chosen our companies because they were close together, making it easy to commute together. Now, I regret that decision. I was rushing to work when I saw Sam opening the car door for Valentina. She spotted me and smiled, but there was something smug about it, like it was meant to challenge me. Layla, we're getting married soon. We'll send you an invitation, you have to come, okay? Oh, by the way, are you still single? Want me to introduce you to someone? Valentina asked with a smirk. I shot her a cold glance and stayed silent. Sam looked uncomfortable, tugging at her arm. That's enough. He avoided my gaze, muttering, sorry about that. What are you apologizing for? Valentina frowned. You guys broke up, right? It's not like you're married. What's the big deal about a breakup? Feelings can't be forced. Sam, why are you even apologizing? What do you mean by that? Her voice grew louder, and I noticed several of our colleagues turning their heads to watch. Sam's face turned red. All right. Fine. I'm sorry. Okay? We're going to be late. Let's go. He grabbed her arm, practically dragging her away in an awkward escape. Even as they left, Valentina couldn't resist turning around and waving, shouting, "Don't forget to come to the wedding." I clenched my fists, standing still for a while before finally walking away. A few days later, I received an unexpected call. It was from Sam's grandmother. I hesitated for a moment but eventually answered. Sam had introduced me to his family a long time ago, and although he turned out to be a jerk, his family had always treated me kindly. Especially his grandmother. She adored me as her future granddaughter-in-law. Every time I visited, she gave me big red envelopes, and every year, she sent me New Year's money. When it was time for me to leave, she always held my hand, unwilling to let go. Layla, you're too skinny. You need to eat well. Girls should be a little fuller to have good fortune. She would send me home with fresh eggs, chickens she'd raised herself, and insisted, take these and make sure to eat well, they're all free-range and full of nutrients. Don't give any to Sam. That boy is tough enough. He doesn't need it. She'd also watch the weather forecast for our city and call me regularly. It's going to rain tomorrow. Layla, don't forget to bring an umbrella when you go out. There's snow in the forecast. I bought you a thick down jacket. It should arrive soon. Layla, when will you come visit again? I've got a goose ready for you. It'll be delicious when you're back. This elderly woman treated me like her own granddaughter. I paused before softly answering. Grandma? Grandma's voice no longer had the strength it used to. It was weak, trembling. Layla, did you and that rascal Sam, did you two break up? She asked cautiously. I don't know why, but even though I hadn't cried in days, hearing her question made my eyes well up with tears. Grandma, I whispered. Yes, he fell for someone else. She was silent for a moment before letting out a long sigh. I could hear the pain in her voice. That boy, it's his loss. That little fool. Layla, you're a good girl. Your good fortune is still waiting for you. I closed my eyes, swallowing the lump in my throat. We spoke a little longer, and then she reluctantly hung up. Almost immediately, Sam called. I frowned as I answered. Hello? There was a brief silence before Sam spoke, sounding conflicted. Layla, Grandma's not doing well. The doctor says she only has a few days left. She really wants to see you, but she's too embarrassed to ask. Could you come visit her? Hearing his voice again, my first instinct was to refuse. I didn't want to have anything to do with Sam anymore, but the words caught in my throat. I couldn't say them. All I could think about was Grandma's frail hands tightly gripping mine whenever I left, asking, when are you coming back? Don't worry about money. Ask the family if you need it. Don't ever suffer in silence. I hesitated. Sam's voice wavered, as if he was on the verge of tears. Layla, I know I've hurt you, but Grandma really loves you. I'm begging you, don't let her go with any regrets, okay? I exhaled softly. Have you told Valentina? I didn't want to cause trouble with the way Valentina was about Sam. I could only imagine the chaos that would erupt if she found out I was visiting his family. Yeah, Sam said, his voice slightly distant. I told her. Fine. I sighed. But I'm not going with you. I'll drive myself. And with that, I hung up the phone. The next morning, I drove into the familiar village. As soon as I stepped through the door, Sam's parents greeted me with smiles. Though their expressions were somewhat strained, Sam's father tried to keep the mood light. Grandma's in the other room. Layla, go on in. She's been asking about you. I entered the room to find Sam already kneeling by the bed, holding his grandmother's hand, his eyes red and swollen. You're here? He rasped, turning to look at me. She's been asking for you. I felt a lump in my throat as I walked over, softly whispering, Grandma, it's Layla. I'm here. The last time I saw Grandma, she was still a spirited woman, dyeing her hair black and excitedly talking about making me goose stew. But now, her hair was completely gray, and she looked so frail. Her eyes were clouded, and her mind seemed hazy as she reached out to me, her voice weak. Layla, is that you? You've come home? Have you eaten? I have. I ate before coming. I choked out, fighting back tears. You've lost weight again. You must not be eating properly. She struggled to speak. I've been saving the fresh eggs for you. Don't forget to eat them. I couldn't hold back my tears any longer, my throat tight with emotion. Take care of yourself. I still want to see you two have a big, healthy baby. If it looks like Layla, it'll be beautiful. She had forgotten all about the breakup. Her voice wheezed, like a leaky bellows. When are you planning to have a child? I wiped away my tears, unable to respond. Next to me, Sam was crying as he replied, Soon, Grandma. This year, you'll see your great-grandchild. Just hold on a little longer. Grandma smiled, satisfied. Just as she was about to speak again, suddenly, a cold voice echoed from behind. You're planning to have a child? Why didn't I know about this? I was stunned, turning in shock. Valentina stood at the doorway, wearing a bulky black down jacket, her face twisted in fury. She looked like a grim reaper, her expression dark and menacing. She curled her lips into a mocking smile. Sam, what exactly do you mean by this? Behind her, Sam's parents hurried in, clearly embarrassed. Sam, this young lady says she's your girlfriend. What's going on here? Sam's face paled as he jumped to his feet, panic in his eyes. Let me explain. But Valentina wasn't interested in hearing explanations. Her face contorted with rage as she marched forward and slapped him hard across the face. Smack! The loud sound of the slap echoed through the room, leaving everyone in shock. Sam! Her voice screeched like nails on a chalkboard, high-pitched and grating, laced with a kind of suppressed madness. How dare you bring this bitch home behind my back? Sam, desperate, tried to explain. Please, just listen to me. There's nothing between us. Grandma just wanted to see Layla. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to overthink. But Valentina wasn't listening. She erupted. I gave up going to a university just so I could attend a lower-tier school in the same city as you. After graduation, I didn't go home. I stayed here. All for you. For 10 years. I've taken care of you. I cooked for you. Washed your clothes. I've never even dated anyone else because I've been waiting for you. I've slit my wrists. I've jumped off buildings. I've clung to you like a dog with no dignity, and this is how you repay me? I was frozen in place. 4 years. I thought Valentina had pursued Sam willingly, out of some twisted devotion. I never imagined she harbored such resentment, and I certainly never thought Sam hadn't told Valentina he was bringing me here. But Sam wasn't moved. His face was full of frustration and thinly veiled anger. You've said this 100 times. And for the love of God, I never asked you to do any of it. If you didn't want to, you could have left. It was like he had struck a hornet's nest. Valentina's face turned crimson, and she exploded with fury, her veins bulging in her forehead as she screamed. Sam, you lying bastard. I'm telling you now, you owe me for the rest of your life. If you ever betray me, I'll kill you. She lunged at him, fists flying in a wild frenzy, with Grandma right behind them. I rushed forward to break them apart, but Valentina turned her wrath on me. "You bitch!" she shrieked, her face twisted in hatred, her eyes narrowed into slits. "It's all your fault. You seduced him. Don't you have any shame? I'll rip your face off. Why don't you just go and die?" I never could have imagined Valentina was like this before. I only thought she was too stubborn, chasing Sam for so many years, but I didn't realize that all these years of one-sided devotion had turned her into someone so deeply repressed. She was acting like a madwoman, like a completely unhinged person. Valentina swung at me, and Sam's parents rushed in to stop her. Valentina was much stronger than she looked. Sam's mother, a frail woman, was knocked to the ground with a hard slap to her chest, letting out a cry of pain as she stumbled. That was the final straw for Sam, his eyes red with fury. He slapped Valentina across the face. "Have you had enough?" "I haven't." The slap only fueled Valentina's rage, and she attacked Sam with reckless abandon. Behind them, Sam's grandmother, terrified, struggled to speak, but her breath caught in her throat, her face turning an alarming shade of purple. I glanced over at her, a wave of panic washing over me. "Stop fighting! Stop it now! Grandma's in trouble, someone call 120. It had started snowing, and the ambulance was delayed. By the time the paramedics arrived and loaded Grandma onto the stretcher, her condition had worsened. She clung to my hand, tears streaming down her face. Behind us, Valentina was still pulling at Sam, refusing to let go. Sam tried to break free to see his grandmother, but Valentina held on tight, her fury unrelenting. I was sobbing uncontrollably, gripping Grandma's hand as tightly as I could. "Don't worry about me, Grandma. I'll be okay. I'll take care of myself." Only then did she release my hand, allowing herself to be lifted into the ambulance. 5 minutes later, she passed away on the way to the hospital, her heart forever still. Chapter 6. After the incident that caused Grandma's death, Sam and Valentina's relationship completely fell apart. It was shocking. Really, just a couple of months ago, they were inseparable, constantly posting about each other on social media. During a slow moment at work, my friend sent me a message. "Hey, did you hear that Sam and Valentina are having major issues?" I could practically see the gleeful smirk on her face through the screen. She didn't even wait for my reply before sending a flood of messages. "Valentina is seriously crazy. Her personality is so twisted, and she's got this insane possessiveness. You couldn't tell at first when they got together, but it didn't take long before she started treating Sam like he was her servant. If he stayed late for work or went out for dinner, she'd blow up his phone like crazy. It's terrifying. You know our classmates who came to visit a while ago? Well, Sam took them out to dinner, and Valentina called him 17 times that night to get him to come home. Sam was embarrassed, so he turned off his phone. But guess what? She had installed a tracking app on his phone and stormed in. A few months ago, I would have thought that was impossible, but after what happened last time, nothing Valentina did surprised me anymore. I texted back. What happened after that? Well, she showed up and caused a huge scene. Of course, I heard she slapped Sam in front of everyone and accused him of betraying her. She went on and on about how much she'd sacrificed for him, saying his conscience must have gone to the dogs. She even threatened to drag him down with her if he ever crossed her. It was pretty terrifying. Oh, and get this, she cursed out one of our classmates too. She told him he was a bad influence on Sam and that if anything happened to Sam, she'd hold him responsible. She even banned him from hanging out with Sam again. I frowned, thinking that this was exactly the kind of thing Valentina would do. Her obsession over the years had clearly warped her mind. Sam might have been fine as long as they weren't together, but the moment they officially started dating, she unleashed all the control she had been bottling up for a decade. In Valentina's mind, her love and sacrifice were absolute. Anything less than total submission from Sam was a betrayal, and that made her a ticking time bomb. But the more tightly you hold on, the faster things slip through your fingers. Their relationship had become nothing more than mutual torment. The more Valentina acted out, the further Sam was pushed away, and the further he distanced himself, the more Valentina felt wronged, escalating her actions into something even more unhinged, forcing him to submit, It was a vicious cycle. Sooner or later, Sam wouldn't be able to take it anymore. My friend messaged me again. That poor classmate of ours got an earful from Valentina out of nowhere. He was so mad. He vented to a group of us. Honestly, Sam's reputation is in tatters now. None of his friends or coworkers want to deal with him anymore. If they do, they're asking for trouble. It's always followed by a barrage of insults from Valentina. Honestly, isn't this karma? Serves him right for being so blind in the first place. He brought this on himself. I was about to reply when one of my coworkers suddenly gasped. Oh my God, is someone about to jump from the building across the street? Following her gaze, I looked out the window, and there, standing on the edge of the building across from us, was a figure. I couldn't see the face clearly, but I instantly knew who it was. Valentina! A jolt of shock ran through me, and I shot up from my seat. Come on, we need to go check this out. My coworker grabbed my arm, pulling me along as we rushed downstairs. Outside, the area was already packed with onlookers, all gossiping and sharing whatever information they had, regardless of whether they knew her or not. I heard it's over a breakup, an older woman said excitedly, her eyes gleaming. The guy wants to end it, but the girl's not having it, so now she's threatening to jump. A younger man next to her scoffed. Jumping over a breakup? That's emotional blackmail. If someone doesn't love you anymore, you should be allowed to break up. The girl beside him frowned. You can't say that. If he didn't like her, why did he get with her in the first place? Why push someone to this point? I scanned the crowd, my heart pounding, and that's when I saw him. That familiar silhouette, one I'd known for over 2,000 days and nights. It was Sam. Compared to the last time I saw him, Sam seemed so much more worn out, like he had shrunk inside his own clothes. His white shirt billowed loosely in the wind, giving him an almost hollow appearance. The building across from us was only 6 stories high, so we could clearly hear Valentina's furious screams. Sam, you're not even human. I gave up everything for you, and now you think you can just walk away after having your fun? Her eyes bulged with anger, making her look almost monstrous. You're dreaming. You're insane. Sam snapped back, his eyes bloodshot and his face contorted with frustration. I don't like you anymore, all right? I don't want to be with you. Is that so hard to understand? That's bull. Valentina was beside herself, raging like a wild animal. Then why did you break up with that bitch for me? It's because she seduced you, isn't it? Sam was nearing his breaking point, his voice hoarse and desperate. I was out of my mind. I was blind, okay? If I had known you were like this, I never would have broken up with Layla. That last sentence was like a match to gasoline. Valentina's face twisted into a grotesque mask of fury. You think you can dump me and go back to that bitch? Over my dead body. Go ahead and die. Then, just die already. Sam completely lost it, screaming at the top of his lungs. We've been together for a few months, and you've threatened to die hundreds of times. So do it now. Right now. I stood there in shock, watching Sam like he was a stranger. He seemed like a man possessed, a shell of the confident, charming person I once knew. What had happened to him over these past few months? How had he changed so much? Weren't they together because they were in love? Valentina kept threatening to jump, but I knew she wouldn't. She had made these kinds of threats so many times before. Back when Sam and I were together for those 7 years, she never actually meant it. For over an hour, they hurled insults and accusations back and forth, locked in a standoff. I thought it would end like all the other times, with nothing more than shouting. But then, something unexpected happened. Valentina had been standing on the ledge for so long that her legs must have gone numb. Suddenly, she slipped. Ah! In a horrifying instant, she screamed and plummeted from the roof, her voice piercing the stunned silence as everyone watched in shock. 2 seconds later, there was a dull thud. Valentina hit the ground hard. Ah! Help! Someone's dead. Call 911. The crowd erupted into chaos. Sam stood frozen in shock for a moment before stumbling forward, half running, half crawling toward her. The ambulance arrived quickly, and several paramedics lifted Valentina onto a stretcher and into the vehicle. The flashing red lights sped away, carrying her into the night. I couldn't believe this was how things had turned out. It took me a while to snap out of it, standing there dazed before I finally followed my coworkers back inside. None of my colleagues knew that Sam was my ex-boyfriend since I'd never been the type to post much on social media. On the way back, they were still chattering in disbelief. That guy was good-looking, though. What was he doing with a woman like her? She was both ugly and crazy. What was he thinking? Another coworker chimed in. Maybe her family's rich or something. Then why were they breaking up? Probably because she was too ugly, and he couldn't take it anymore. Did you see her? Acne scars and pockmarks all over her face. If I had to sit across from her at a dinner table, I don't think I'd be able to eat. She just jumped off a building. And you're still talking like that? Have some decency. Chapter 7. What happened next? I heard from my best friend, Valentina. Miraculously, survived. But survival came at a cost. She didn't make it out unscathed. The fall severely damaged her spine, leaving her paralyzed from the neck down. In simple terms, she was bedridden for life. Sam paid for her medical expenses and stayed by her side until she was discharged from the hospital. But after that, he couldn't take it anymore. He wanted to break up with her. That's when things got even worse. Valentina's family refused to let him go. After all, it was clear what kind of family raised someone like Valentina. They blamed Sam for everything, insisting that he was responsible for their daughter's condition. They demanded he pay 3 million yuan in compensation and take care of Valentina for the rest of his life. Even marry her. Sam's family wasn't short of money. Although he hadn't asked for financial help since he graduated, his parents couldn't ignore something this serious. Their stance was clear. They were willing to negotiate the compensation. But marriage? Absolutely not. After all, Valentina had driven Sam's grandmother to her death. His parents despised her and would never let her into their family, especially now that she was paralyzed. If Sam were to marry her, his entire life would be ruined, and they couldn't allow that. But Valentina's family wouldn't back down. They were dead set on making Sam responsible. They even threatened to take him to court, ruin his reputation, and ensure he would never have peace. The two families were locked in a bitter conflict. I heard Sam's on the verge of a mental breakdown. My friend said with a laugh she couldn't suppress it. One of our classmates visited him recently. They said his eyes were vacant. He hasn't shaved, and he's like a walking zombie. After hanging up, I felt a strange mix of emotions. By now, I wasn't in the same heart-wrenching pain as I was when we first broke up. It had taken time, but I realized that what dulls the pain isn't just time itself, it's habit. You get used to being with someone, and when that person is suddenly gone, it feels like a part of you has been ripped away, leaving you in unbearable pain. But slowly, as the wound heals, you get used to being alone. It stops hurting as much. It's terrifying how quickly time can erase everything. 7 years spent together, shadowing each other through life. And yet, just a few months later, it all fades away. When we first broke up, I was full of hatred, hoping Sam and Valentina would suffer as much as I had. I wanted them to feel the same pain, to get what they deserved. But now, as their lives fell apart, I didn't feel the satisfaction I thought I would. Instead, I just felt empty. Life is unpredictable. A few months ago, Sam and I were the closest people in each other's lives. I was planning my future with him, excited to become his wife. Now, just 2 seasons later, everything had changed. As I walked up to my apartment that evening, I was startled to see someone crouched by my front door. I froze for a moment, but as I got closer, I realized it was Sam. He looked so different that I barely recognized him. In just a few days, he seemed to have lost even more weight. His eyes were sunken, with deep dark circles underneath, and his face was scruffy with an unkempt beard. He looked like he had been completely drained of life. Hearing my footsteps, he turned his head toward me, his movements slow and lifeless. Before he could even say a word, tears started to spill from his bloodshot eyes. I felt a pang in my chest, but I kept my face cold and distant. "What are you doing here?" I asked sharply. Sam's voice was hoarse, as though it had been scraped raw by sandpaper. "Layla." His eyes were red as he spoke. "If I told you I regret it now, would that be too shameless?" I looked down at him, standing tall. "At least you know." But he stiffened. his arms slowly wrapping around his head as he started to sob. But I really do regret it. I regret it so much. I had everything, and now it's all gone. Why did it turn out like this? Despite everything, I had loved him once, and his words brought tears to my own eyes. But I forced them back and whispered, "These were your choices, weren't they? I begged you once, but you still chose her over me." Sam's voice cracked as if he was being torn apart inside. His hands, clutching his head, turned white with tension, the veins bulging on the back of his hands. She chased me so relentlessly. At first, I hated her for it. But then, I started to feel moved by how much she loved me. She gave everything she had for me, and I began to pity her. That pity made me respond to her. And then I thought I was in love with her. But after we got together, I realized I wasn't. The feelings I thought were love were just gratitude. And gratitude doesn't turn into love. After we got together, she changed. She started watching me all the time, checking my phone every day. She deleted all the women in my contacts. She called and threatened my female coworkers, telling them to stay away from me. She even cursed at my male friends, telling them not to invite me anywhere. He broke down completely, his voice choked with emotion. That's when I realized I don't love her at all. I used to feel sorry for her, but now, every time I see her face, I feel nothing but anger. I don't even want to stay home anymore. After work, I sit in the car for hours trying to summon the courage to go inside. It was like a dam had burst. He poured out everything he had been holding inside, his voice desperate and broken. I wanted to break up with her, but she wouldn't let me. She always threatens me. I never thought things would turn out like this. I didn't want this. What am I supposed to do now? Sam's voice broke as he sobbed uncontrollably, his body trembling like a bowstring on the verge of snapping. I regret it so much. I had everything. Why was I so foolish? If we hadn't broken up, we'd probably be married by now, right? I've imagined it so many times, what you'd look like in a wedding dress. His voice cracked as he cried out in agony. I thought I would feel sad hearing him like this. But instead, I had just one thought. He's crying harder now than I did when he broke my heart. Finally, he's feeling the pain I felt. Sam didn't seem to need any response from me. He just needed someone to listen to him spill out all his regrets. After a long pause, he lifted his head, his eyes swollen and red. There was a hint of desperation and fragile hope in his voice as he cautiously asked, "Layla, could we?" No, I cut him off coldly, not even letting him finish. "What do you think I am? A garbage collector?" Sam's face instantly drained of color. "Just leave," I said, my voice emotionless. "I'm going home. I've given you more chances than you deserved. And each time you chose Valentina, the path you chose was your own. Now, you have to live with the consequences." Sam was silent for a moment. Then he slowly pushed himself up, using the wall for support. A bitter, hollow smile twisted his lips. "You're right," he said, his voice hoarse. "Saying this now, I disgust myself, but if I didn't ask, I'd never stop wondering." The motion sensor light in the hallway flickered off after a moment of silence, plunging the stairwell into darkness. Sam slowly made his way down the stairs. When he reached the bottom step, he turned back to look at me, silhouetted against the endless night behind him. "Layla," he said, his voice quiet, "I'm a bastard. I deserve everything that's happening to me now. But you're amazing." His voice cracked, tears choking his words. "Don't let me make you sad. You'll meet someone 1,000, 10,000 times better than me." With that, he turned and walked away. I stood there, watching his retreating figure, unable to say a word. Chapter 8. After that, I never heard from Sam again. I didn't know if he had left with Valentina or what had become of him. And honestly, I no longer cared. Slowly, I began to move on, and when I looked back on the past, all that remained were sighs of reflection. Those 7 years felt like a dream. The first half was sweet, but the latter half was bitter, almost unbearable. But no matter how it went, the dream had ended, and it was time for me to continue moving forward. Placing a bouquet of lilies in front of Grandma's grave, I stood up and whispered softly, "Grandma, I'm doing well now. You can rest easy." The cemetery was quiet. The only sound was the wind gently swirling past my ears. The deep winter had passed, and around the cemetery, the forsythia bushes were already eager, sprouting their first buds of the season. I wrapped my coat tightly around me and walked away. Winter had come to an end, and spring was just around the corner.